You don't have low self-worth. You have behaviors that don't match the level you say you want. And I know that's not what most people are telling you. They're telling you to think more positively, say affirmations, believe in yourself more. But here's the truth. You can say, I'm worthy all day and still act like you're not. So let me ask you something honestly. If I looked at your actions, not your thoughts, would I see someone who values themselves or someone who still overgives, undercharges, holds themselves back? If we haven't met before, hi, I'm Cherry. I'm a spiritual life coach, numerologist, and energy alchemist. And I help you break the patterns that keep you stuck so you can actually start showing up at the level you say you want. Because this isn't just mindset. This is behavior. This is identity. And this is what your life is actually responding to. In this video, I am going to be breaking down why self-worth isn't something you think. It's something you do. How your energy body 7, your aura self, reflects your behavior and what you need to change if you want your reality to match the level you say you're at. Because your life doesn't respond to what you say. It responds to what you consistently do. Before we go any further, if this is already hitting, hit subscribe and tap that notification bell because it really helps the channel grow. And it's free because this is a space where you stop talking about change and actually start living it. And if you're ready for that, drop a fire emoji in the comments and let me know what was the thing that hit you the most in this video. All right, let's get into this properly because this is where most people are getting it wrong. Let's clear something up. You've been taught that self-worth is something you need to feel first. That one day you'll wake up and feel confident, feel worthy, feel ready, and then you'll act differently. But that's not how it works. Because if that was true, you would have changed already. Think about it. How long have you been working on your mindset, trying to feel more confident, trying to believe in yourself more? And yet your behavior hasn't fully shifted. You're still saying yes when you want to say no, undercharging, overgiving, holding back. So clearly, waiting to feel worthy first isn't working because self-worth is not a feeling. It's a pattern of behavior. It's what you allow, tolerate, and reinforce every single day. And this is the part that most people don't want to hear. You don't build self-worth by telling yourself, I'm worthy. You build self-worth by acting like my time matters. My energy has value. I don't need to overgive to be accepted, even when it feels uncomfortable, because the feeling doesn't come first. The behavior does. And then the feeling catches up. So if you're sitting here thinking, I don't feel confident enough yet, that's not the problem. The problem is you're waiting for a feeling that only comes after you act differently. And that keeps you stuck in the same loop. I don't feel worthy, so I don't act. So nothing changes, so I don't feel worthy. See? And round you go until you interrupt it. Not with another thought, but with a different action. And this is where things get really clear. Because when we look at your behavior, it tells the truth instantly. So let's make this real, because you can say, I value myself. I know my worth. I'm ready for more. But your behavior will always tell the truth. And this is where the gap shows up. The gap between what you say and what you actually do. So let's look at it honestly. If you value your time, would you keep saying yes when you want to say no? If you value your energy, would you keep overgiving just to keep people happy? If you valued your work, would you keep undercharging or downplaying what you do? If you trusted yourself, would you keep second guessing every decision? Because this isn't just about judgment. This is about clarity. Your behavior is showing you exactly where your self-worth actually sits. Not where you want it to be. Not where you think it should be, but actually where it is. And right now, for a lot of you, your actions are saying, my needs come second. I need to prove my value. I don't want to disrupt anything. Even if your mind is saying something completely different. And that mismatch, that's what keeps your life exactly where it is. Because your reality doesn't respond to what you think. It responds to what you reinforce through action. So if your actions are still aligned with overgiving, undercharging, holding back, your results will stay aligned with that, no matter how much you try to think differently. And this is where you need to take responsibility, not in a way that blames you, but in a way that gives you your power back. Because the moment you see this clearly, you also see where you can change it, not by fixing your thoughts, but by changing your behavior. And this is exactly where Energy Body 7 comes in, because your behavior doesn't just affect your results, it shapes your entire presence. So let's bring this into your Energy Body 7, your aura cell, because your aura is not responding to your affirmations. It's responding to your behavior. It reflects what you tolerate, what you allow, and what you reinforce through action every single day. So if you're saying, I value myself, but your behavior is overgiving, over-explaining, undercharging, and holding back, your aura doesn't register, I'm valuable. It registers, I don't hold my own value yet. And that matters because your aura is what people are responding to. Before you say anything, they're not just listening to your words. They're feeling your standards. They're feeling where you collapse, where you hold, and where you don't. So when your behavior is inconsistent, your presence is inconsistent. One moment you're clear, confident, grounded, and the next you've softened, adjusted, or overridden yourself. And that creates mixed signals. I know my worth, but I don't fully act like it. And people will feel that. Opportunities reflect that. Your results mirror that. Not because you're doing anything wrong, but because your energy is not stabilized yet. And this is a shift you need to understand. Your life doesn't change when you decide you're worthy. It changes when you become someone who consistently acts like it. That's what stabilizes your aura. That's what strengthens your presence. That's what changes how you're met. Not occasionally, but consistently. So this isn't about doing something big once. It's about becoming someone who no longer collapses in the small moments, because those small moments are what define your entire identity. And this is exactly what a year one is asking of you. Not more awareness, but new standards. So this is where it becomes real, because a universal year one doesn't reward intention. It responds to standards, not what you say you want, what you actually live by. And this is the shift you need to make. Self-worth is not something you feel occasionally. It's something you hold consistently through your standards, through what you say yes to, say no to, allow and stop allowing every single day. Because right now, a lot of you are operating with flexible standards, which means sometimes you hold your boundary and sometimes you don't. Sometimes you speak up, sometimes you stay quiet. And that's inconsistency. That's what keeps your identity unstable, because your system doesn't know, is this who we are now or not? So it defaults back to what's familiar. And that's why things don't stick. Not because you don't know better, because you're not holding it consistently enough to become it. So this is the decision point. What are your standards now? Not what do you want them to be? What are you actually willing to hold, enforce, and follow through on, even when it's uncomfortable? Because this is where self-worth is built, not in big moments, but in the small everyday decisions where you either reinforce your value or override it. And the more you reinforce it, the more your identity stabilizes, the more your aura strengthens, the more your reality reflects it. Not because you've healed everything, but because you've decided, this is who I am now, and you're acting like it. So now let's make this practical, because this is where everything starts to shift. So let me make this simple. Not easy, but simple. If your self-worth is real, it has to show up in how you move, not occasionally, consistently. So first, stop saying yes when it's a no. This is the fastest way to see where your self-worth actually is. When something doesn't feel right and you say yes anyway, you're telling your system, my comfort matters less than keeping the peace. So start here. When it's a no, say no without over-explaining, justifying, or softening it. Just a clean, grounded, no, that doesn't work for me. Second, stop over-explaining yourself. This is where a lot of your energy leaks. You say something and then feel the need to explain it, justify it, make sure it's understood. Why? Because you're trying to be approved of. But when your worth is solid, you don't need to convince people. You say it and you leave it. That's authority. Third, change and act like your work has value. Let's be real here. If you don't treat your work like it has value, no one else will either. So this shows up in your pricing, your boundaries, your energy around what you offer. No more undercharging, over-delivering to compensate, making yourself easier to say yes to. That's not alignment. That's insecurity. Fourth, move without needing validation. This is a shift into self-trust. Stop checking. Is this okay? What do you think? Should I do this? Decide, act, and let your decision be enough. Because every time you look outside yourself for approval, you weaken your own authority. Fifth, hold the standard, even when it's uncomfortable. This is the one that actually changes your life. Anyone can hold a standard when it feels easy. But when it feels uncomfortable, that's where your identity is built. So when you feel the urge to go back on your word, soften your boundary, make something easier for someone else, pause and choose differently. Because that moment, that's where your self-worth is either reinforced or overridden. And those moments add up. And this is where we close this out, because now it comes down to one thing. So I want you to really sit with this. If someone looked at your life without hearing your thoughts, without hearing your intentions, just your actions, would they see someone who values themselves or someone who's still negotiating their worth? Because this is the truth. Your life doesn't reflect what you believe. It reflects what you consistently do. And if your behavior doesn't change, your results won't either, no matter how much you think differently. But the moment you start to act like your time matters, act like your energy has value, and act like you don't need to overgive to be accepted, everything shifts. Your presence, your standards, your results, all of it. Now, if you're watching this and thinking, I can see exactly where my behavior doesn't match my worth, but I don't know how to shift it consistently, I have 3 freebies down in the description box below. One to know your numbers, the Numerology quick guide. And the second one is about building your boundaries. And the third one is about Lemuria, finding your path. Go grab them now and start the work today. I'll also link somewhere around this video near the end, the hacks for number 7, which is Energy Body 3, and Energy Body 1, which is the universal year. And if this has landed for you, I would really love for you to hit subscribe and tap the notification bell. Help this channel grow and reach more people. And drop a fire emoji in the comments and let me know what was it for you that hit you the most. So I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.